Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This reading is going to be for Aries, so welcome Aries. If you're another sign or have Aries in another part of your chart, welcome. I wanted to do a hopefully quicker reading because I know my readings are super long. I think it's good that I feel that the energy that I'm picking up on has had, I suppose, calmer nights, as calm as they can be. Um, of course, there's still stuff surrounding them and going on, but for the most part, all is well. So I'm happy to say that. I was picking up a specific thing the other day after I did the reading for Pisces, and it was like I I love this person, and then the person's like, oh, why? And then um the person's like, because both of our favorite color is green, and one might think, and it is, but that isn't the only reason why. But it does bring up a specific topic, and so this is in a way going to be somewhat of a love reading as well. There are other aspects that I'm incorporating for this video, but it is one where the person is able to, or have the capability to love unconditionally and have that capacity. It's not the most common thing these days, so it is um, quite a sight or thing to do and be aware of, and realize that there is still the unconditional love that goes into the relationships. Um, I think that this is definitely a great start because the other Aries reading was a heavier reading, and it is as if the person or the energy that has gone through difficult cycles, specifically in relationships, is still able to have that capacity of loving unconditionally. Um, and in a way, it does feel like without question, too. So, the other aspect that I wanted to bring to this reading is reading from the Watcher Angel Tarot. Of course, I have the other decks too. So, the Watcher Angel um, is really focused in the Book of Enoch. And the Book of Enoch is one of the books that are banned or that was taken out of the Bible. So, these angels came down, and it was almost as if, well, they have the free will, so they were seen to have tainted their blood because they mated with the humans. And when they did that, their children were giants. And as much as they wanted to try to have the giants live in the human world in a safe way, they ended up being more violent and eating, feeding. So another thing is it was like the book talks about like the violations and the things that were done that um by the Watcher Angels. They shared the secrets of the divine. So the they taught the humans like how to make armor, some enchantments, like jewelry, plants, specific information. So aside from coming down to earth and getting human affection and love in that way, they also were said to share how to make weapons. So, different types of ancient knowledge, and it is one of the books that is in really proclaimed because of the things that transpired, and it was almost as if the book was an apology, or was one where it was like a repenting type of section that would have been in the Bible, because they were telling the writer these things that they did, and hopefully to get the redemption. And essentially, they weren't the original fallen ones, but can be seen as that. So, another aspect of this, with me being a Libra, I do like to see the whole picture. I like to see the different sides, and it is interesting. I don't really like stepping on other people's energies too, so I'll I'll observe. I have a couple of decks. So aside from the Watcher Angel Tarot, um, I have the Slavic Legends Tarot, the Healing with the Angels. I'll pull out a card and then I'll give my interpretation and I'll read what the book has for the card. This is the Mysteries of Mary Tarot. And I do have a deck that is coming in. It's going to be a while. Technically, I decided to have it sent to my parents, who will then ship it to my godmothers, because I wasn't sure if they needed a signature or anything. And my godmother, she has her sister-in-law there and she needs help with a couple things, so I wasn't going to put that on them. So my parents will forward it to them so then I could pick it up at my godmother's at some point. As you could see, I am slowly packing, even though I am moving out of the apartment pretty quickly. Um, so it'll be a set change. But as I was saying, one of the decks that's coming in is the Buckland Romani. So I'll quickly talk about it and then I'll get into the reading, because it is a reproduction deck, because the creator passed in 2017 and it hasn't been produced. So it is not the um most accessible deck, especially in America. So I did order from a Ukrainian Etsy seller, and I'm super happy that it'll be coming and I'll finally have the deck because it's been on the list of decks that I've been wanting. And luckily, my list isn't as large as it used to be because I have been reading for a while. So it, I like the decks that I like, and of course there are ones that pop out here and there. Um, just exciting, but I have a deck of the Buckland Romani. It's not the one that I'm waiting for, but I'll use it for this reading too because one of the things that I was getting for this reading especially is that for me to say like I didn't forget because the card that came out is the Six of Cups. Before I was reading, there was also energy of um, still saying I messed up or I didn't follow through with something, or there's also like kind of love songs, but like in hearing them like when you're sad and then you listen to the love songs to make you, I guess, even more sad, but to express them in that way, which isn't bad. Because I know sometimes I could say things that maybe might rile people up, but in a way, maybe that's good because maybe it's good to feel other ways aside from maybe this the sorrow that you have been feeling because of things that have happened, and it might be good to get the blood flowing. So you can curse me out or do that stuff. I'm sure I've heard it before, but it's good to be alive. But there's also the past couple of days too. It was trying to smile. It was almost like a half smile, as if there's a lingering sadness that comes out of it. And at the bottom of the deck for the Slavic legends, it's the Nine of Pentacles reversed. So it feels like this energy connects to the other energy that they might be thinking about or have encountered in some at some point. And the word that I'm getting is like incapable because it seems like maybe this the other person that they long for is one that they think is just has their life together, does this and does that. Or maybe it's just two different worlds and not knowing how their worlds can combine in that way. But I feel with different people around the world that there's so much there's so much to talk about. And it just makes it interesting when people are different from you. There's an inner dialogue that when you have it in your head and maybe it's spirit talking and maybe it's just talking in conversing. So I feel like it does have to do with like doing readings for me too, and you could relate to it in a way that maybe may be of a benefit to you. But it's almost like my guides are like beforehand. So are you just gonna sit on your ass and knit all day? And then I respond, yeah, that's the plan. Um, and they say, you like to help and you can change things. Did it? And then in my response, I'm like, I do. Um, when I share some visions, people think that I have the devil in me. And then my guide's response is, then show the light that you have. Yeah, it's good to be yourself. The things that you're meant to do, the people that you're meant to encounter, it teaches you, and in a lot of ways, it helps develop the person that you are. Because I like being who I am, but I don't want to scare people. So I'll show the way that I know how to love. I don't usually pull this card out. It's the extra card. I tend to be particular about my decks if they have extra cards, if I'm going to keep them in there or not. Because this one is the Seeker. So what are you trying to find? I feel like this is more validation too, because this is the Page of Wands, and the keyword at the bottom is free spirit. To be yourself, and in other ways to be as free as the wind. And the figure in there is bald, so maybe to release some anxiety or things that you have going on in your life that in a way it like makes you pull your hair as a stress response. Um, or in being forced to let go and see things in other ways, just to do things in other ways that you've never done before. Because it feels like with the wands, they're associated with fire, and fire isn't really an element that you control as much as maybe earth, or it's in a way where fire can very well destroy things if given to the information is given to the wrong people and doing the wrong things depending on what your moral compass is. And then you also have the Ace of Wands too. So that is the embodiment of fire. Can be the embodiment of passion and drive. There is a type of frequency that comes out of it as if the blood is now pumping and Adrian don't. In a way, it's what could have been said, and that's what she said. But the next card is the Nine of Wands, Perseverance. And what's interesting with the Nine of Wands is the Nine of Wands can be seen as a fatigued card, but it's almost as if something just gave you your spark back, or it's like if you're at the end of the shift and you know that you had to get X, Y, and Z done. It's like that boost of like energy because you're like, I'm not staying here another half hour just to finish this stuff. It needs to be done like right now. And it's good to like really regulate the type of energy that you have and have like um chi that really flows, to be aware of the energy that you exude. Um, I know the other day I received a howlite bracelet with an order that I got, and honestly, like, especially at work, I feel a little sedated because um, it's like calm Adrian is there. I feel like I'm pretty mellow. At the same time, I'm like, I am a little bit of a hothead at times. I feel like somebody's focus is really in their emotional realm because you have the Emperor, and that's also associated with Aries too. And you see like shadows going into the light. It and then it goes into like scientifically through darkness there is light. It's like the balance of one and the other. And it really is, as I said, a balance because you have Aries with fire and then the cups associated with water, and this is the Queen of Cups. Also with the seer too. So the seer can be associated with the seeker, and what they're trying to seek is the new enthusiasm for being able to love again. Or if you're loving for the first time in another way, like with companionship, um, it's almost like seeing love for the first time, too. Because this energy, it's almost like you walk into a room, and I'm not saying this person doesn't have things that they look for in a person, but it's almost as if they could love anybody that walks through that door. And it's not in a desperation, because I don't get desperate from this. In fact, I get more of like um trauma in a way where you're super independent. But there's also the energy of a person that like sees another person walk through the door and they see the good in them, and in a way they see, I can love this person. And from that, it is the unconditional love. Then you have the Three of Wands. I feel like it links to the reverse Nine of Pentacles. With this, it feels like planning and doing, like the light bulbs are coming up. And although this is wands, in some decks you can associate air with wands. Some decks do that. So you're flipping the the elements with the suits. But it's thinking and doing, and there's a reaction to it. It's almost like you're doing this to get a reaction from the other person, as if it's something where I'm doing this for you, or I'm showing that I'm capable of doing this, um, because I want to have a loving exchange. The Five of Coins comes up in the present, and it's as if, because in the beginning it was like wanting the freedom because that was the Page of Wands. And then the Five of Coins is like not being able to have that freedom or not being able to leave. And then there's a want and a need, and almost in a way like so keen and so determined because you have the Knight of Swords in the obstacle position with the Magician. Like you're trying to go every which way because the Magician is versed in the elements. It's like you pull whatever you need out of the hat, and it's alchemical in ways too. And because it's well versed in the different elements, there's also the practicality and linking to mentality of how you follow through with something. Um, Almost like having the mind of a scientist. And when you see something or when you want to do something that is different than what the world is giving you, then you change that, you create it, you do it. Um, there is a preparation to this. And with the Five of Coins, since it's one where it does look like opposites trying to balance each other out, at least, at the very least. But in a way, it's one where you're not just looking for peace, you need to look for a victory and look for a way on how opposition won't follow through and won't come back. It's wanting to have the resources to go against opposition with the Five of Coins, the Five of Pentacles. Because with the Five of Pentacles, there is a sense of lack. And then when you see the card, it looks like a storm is brewing in some way because it's so windy. And the opposite of earth is air. And the opposite, as I said with the Emperor in the cups, it's fire and water. I'm also getting like being selective about the resources too. With the obstacle, because you have the Five of Cups. and the consequences and the repercussions of these actions, and even to for those who have fallen. How to overcome the obstacle with the King of Cups. It's interesting because, as I said, I was talking about cattail the other day. Um, it's on the card, and it is quite prosperous in that area. So, with the King of Cups being surrounded by cattail, it's almost as if he's trying to heal himself. So he surrounds himself, and what I'm getting is that when you look at water, like you look at the sea and the ocean, as you go deeper down, it gets darker, and then at some point, as humans, we're not capable of going that deep into the ocean for specific reasons. And with the King of Cups, it's to overcome the obstacle, it's like I'm getting like to reach the surface because this energy, it feels that it's closing itself off. But is this energy able to? Because there's the Five of Coins and the Page of Pentacles. This is like a watching and observing card. Oh, and then what also came out is the Magician in this deck too, with the Hermit. So these are pretty serious cards in the deck. I'm not saying serious like they're not good. I'm just saying because they're part of the major arcana. And with the Page of Pentacles, and I'll be honest, it looks like in the Page of Pentacles, it was as if like Spirit was looking back at me at that. So it's almost it's like this person that they're observing, like they're really observing them and looking at them and seeing how they're doing, what they're doing when they're doing something. It is like pretty lengthy of how in depth that they are. And with the King of Cups, it's like not wanting to leave traces of that because it is associated with Scorpio, and Scorpio is known to have a little bit of secrecy to them. Um, in the depths. Like if the Scorpio wants you to know something, I feel like they'll probably tell you if they don't want you to know something. Um, I feel like they might act like it's never existed or it's never been a thing or it's something that is a ghost in a way. And what better energy, what better type of person, I guess, to look at these things and to be quiet, and it's almost like being undercover or being a sniper, or if you're trying to find out something under the radar to the fullest extent of being a ghost. Because in the past, you have the Queen of Wands. Which I feel like is linked to the Nine of Coins, and I feel that it's another opposite with the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands, because the Wands being associated with fire and the cups being associated with water. A lot of opposites like coming together. There is a focus because with all of that, like observing and studying, in a way, being kind of like a shark that lurks, um, you get the Nine of Cups in the future. And what it reminds me of is like, because with the Nine of Cups, it's desire becoming a reality. And with the fish having the crown and being like there's plenty of fish in the sea, but you're looking at that specific fish and that's what you're going for. And since I had the Six of Cups in the beginning, and with the Queen of Wands being in the past, I do feel like it's associated with someone or a situation in the past that you're still determined to follow through with. So with the since I said Nine of Cups, I meant to say Five of Coins. The present links to the future because you can't change the past. Yeah, the Queen of Knives, the Queen of Swords, with the Seven of Wheels, the Seven of Pentacles are coins. The Seven of Wands. And you know what? Seven is an important number. I'm going to put it below because when I was weighing out chemicals in the lab today, I 3 times, and it ended with 7. That's not the number that I was like supposed to get. Um, and then after that, I got the decimal number that I needed. So with the Nine of Cups, because since it reminds me of like the numbers at the casino, I'm not sure. I've never done it before, but it it's like a gamble because it's a little bit blindsided in some ways. Because why would you have to be lurking or observing to that extent, or the other person? Seven of Wands, Seven of Pentacles. It seems tedious too and time consuming. And then you have the King of Wands again. I'm sorry. The King of Wands. You have another king, but you don't have the King of Wands in this reading. But you have the Emperor. And the Emperor is the embodiment of all the kings. So King of Cups, King of Wands. Those are the two. And then the other archetypes are the queens. And then the page. Then the Empress. I feel like you respect this person, which is specific. As much as they, because you have the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords isn't one to, I guess, impress people in that way. Like she is who she is. She'll be on her own if she needs to be. Because there's something unapologetic and maybe fierce and maybe unapologetic, as I was saying, that you commend them for that. Like the King of Cups, it like feels like they're in awe of this energy. It also might be a little distracting too, because you also have the Page of Cups with the Four of Swords and the Empress again, as I showed. Because with the Empress, it feels as if this person is, I don't want to say younger, but it feels like there's a freer spirit or like um there's like a youthfulness to this energy. So with the, sorry, I had the news pop up on my phone. Um, what is it? Launching airstrikes. Explosions heard in Iran. Reports. So it almost feels like a newcomer with the Empress and the Page of Cups. Like she's coming into her Empress energy, or she has such a strong personality that it embodies the Queens, even at this stage in life. So with the Nine of Coins, I feel like it links to the Page of Cups because this person is established in that way. And with the Four of Knives, the Four of Swords, I feel like this energy is like having a hard time getting past that. Then you have the Two of Wands and the Devil card. So with that, it's like wanting to make future plans. And this feels with the Page of Cups being associated with the Empress, even though she's not necessarily um, a queen, but the other queens have popped up in the reading. it makes it all the more. I'm getting like being engaged more with this person, with the situation. And the Four of Swords, it is one of like those half smiles that I've been getting the past couple of days because I was asking like about the Four of Swords on why they're in that phase. And it's the Hanged Man and the Knight of Cups. So I'm getting like a sitting duck type of energy. And it feels as if, well, if I move this way, then this is going to happen. If I move this way, then this is going to happen. So with the Two of Wands, it feels like there's some type of planning that goes along with it. And then there's the Strength card too in this deck with the bear. I would say to really focus on the strengths, like your own strengths, and see what you're capable of and how the things that you know how to do, the things that you're knowledgeable about, the things that come naturally to you, um, those aspects of yourself, let that be part of your rock, like your foundation, and being able to build on those qualities. And then from that, it gives you like the boost of confidence um, and also with time too, I feel, especially you go through life and then you start to feel more and more comfortable at at least I feel that in a lot of areas for me. So I'll pull out a couple more cards. So you have the Moon card, Mary of the Gale. And it looks like it has Bridget's cross on here too. Which is interesting because the moon is a really watery energy. So it's almost as if it's like protection of the darkness or protection of that emotional side or emotional realm that we dive deeply into, the things that we have to uncover um, and release or transmute to, if we're going to keep it in our lives, to be able to keep it up to date. There might be some maintenance with that. And with that, I also feel that the seeker's associated with keeping up with those things. I say that, and it's like the Nine of Cups. There is a new, it's not necessarily a new focus, but there is a spark that I was getting like with the Ace of Wands. And then you have the Sun card. And there is a comfort, especially with the Sun card, and then this is peeping through the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Coins, as I was saying, that was the card that was at the bottom that was coming at in reverse. So there is like a comfort, and to be able to focus on yourself, and that'll really help with the aspects of in the situation that's going on around you that you would like to move forward with. And I know it's like cliche, like being able to work on yourself, but at the end of the day, even if like you are with somebody, you're still left with yourself in every moment of your life because you're not always going to have that partner that's like next to you. Being able to be comfortable with yourself, being able to love yourself, um, find the strength within yourself with when things happen is important. I really feel like there's a lot of focus on more being able to accept yourself more, and it's linked a lot to the finances or your career. Um, the type of career that you have, it really is something that weighs heavily on you. And it was linking to the Hanged Man too. And with the Five of Knives, the Five of Swords, it's kind of like all or nothing. Like, I need to have my grades be this way, or I won't feel comfortable. I won't feel presentable in the world unless this happens. I would shift the perspective on that. I mean, you can do what you want. And remember who you surround yourself with, on who's your tribe, who has your back, like who's your ride or die, your Bonnie and Clyde, your partner in crime type of situation. Um, it really matters, especially if the mental capacity isn't quite there sometimes. Like it has to be present in the moments throughout your life. It's not just being selective. It's not breaking down when something is going wrong. Of course, like we all um have the human experiences, but it's how you move forward when you go through those things. Sometimes it takes a while, but to have that determination and that focus, to the drive um, to fight for yourself. Like you need to have a fight. So with abundance, and maybe that's why it's calmer these days too, with the abundance, being more comfortable in the area or like the field that you're in, if you had to change it especially. So card meaning a new flow of support is coming to you right now. Ask the angels to help release fears without scarcity so that you can enjoy the increased abundance. Your messenger angels announce the arrival of an inflow of abundance coming your way. The source of all abundance is God, and you have some level had faith that the Creator would supply your needs. Your faith, even if it was small, triggered the abundance that is manifesting for you right now. Keep your faith, as it will ensure you steady flow of support materially, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. A wonderful affirmation to help you stay in the stream of the steady flow of abundance is: I accept good graciously into my life. All of my needs are met abundantly for me now and always. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video.